Yeah.
So you got one too?
Yeah.
Oh, and now he tells me, well, first of all, I've been a little busy. So,
I mean, the first one I got was last.
it was a long time ago. So now he has actually emailed me again and said,
So how many part-time meetings?
I'll see if once I can
for some
spam or
reason, I
something.
can't pull anything up.
Chief, I don't know if you, and I assume you, do, I don't know how.
I need
often
Wi-Fi.
it comes up here for us.
Hey, Brian,
Last
and there's
week,
one.
you just issued an opinion to the county prosecutor.
I need,
No,
Maybe.
police officers cannot provide
Sure,
legal or
Wi-Fi.
leg information to coroners
Do we have
or
Wi-Fi here?
investigators to identify a body.
Yes.
a complete different.
Well, first off, I want to know what circumstances arose that they wanted to use.
I have a
means to
VOB and
identify a
VOB
body.
guest.
But apparently you can't give it to coroners and they can't subpoena it.
Or
We'll get ready for the twist.
You're
Chris.
one.
Who's the
Is the
highest
guest-
authority in law enforcement?
Let me try guest, because you probably don't need a password.
So how
Yes.
can they not be
Well-
classified?
Oh, no, you do need a password.
Okay.
I don't know, the county prosecutor might.
I didn't think about that.
It's independent. Coroners law enforcement
That guy,
only goes into.
I
first
did think of that
determining
guy.
merit of death.
whatever he's complaining about.
Well, they can hold corners in.
Where's my phone?
How
How you doing there, girl?
Was that?
Where's my phone?
I'm still out.
Have you recovered a little bit?
I've been overwhelmed. I'm cooling off now.
You're hired to commit on deaths.
That was bullet point number 3. A deputy sheriff hired by the police department for the purpose of investigating a death cannot use his county deputy designation to pull leads or OLEG information
Looks like what I used
to identify a body when working on the coroner's inquiry.
Yeah, I don't, and I'm like you, when I read that, I thought there's gotta be a.
Wait,
well, there- yeah.
Available.
You know,
And that's
But
for,
I will tell you right now, on the forms we use in West.
Just VOB?
We have like.
Well, I mean-
Social Security number, blah, 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 blah. We fill it all out.
okay, VOB. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
You gave it to them, that was just the way it was. And so, and that's pretty much the way it's around here.
I mean, and that's the thing is, I think you can give them that information on their form.
No, no,
You
it's
just can't hand them the OLEG or leads for now,
Yeah, well, yeah.
circle of death.
I just find the whole thing very.
which is
strange.
interesting because I have this debate.
I didn't even think about that. Am I gonna have to now?
For instance, as soon as I get one.
Can you hook it up to
I
your
It
don't
says
have
I
to
can connect.
Okay.
Hold on, let me check.
Is
Is your phone
Because
a
I'm not pulling from the terminal.
Oh,
hotspot?
Dispatch is giving it to me.
Is my phone what?
Hotspot?
As soon as they
No.
give it to me,
well, I
all
don't
the
know.
lead stuff is out. there. Defense attorneys. Because as a prosecutor doing a pursuit to discovery, none of the lead stuff is applicable. Because defense attorneys don't have to be certified.
I can probably get through tonight without.
I'm sorry, but many of them couldn't.
Oh, but
Because I
you're gonna,
told
if you're
them.
gonna use that.
Probably not,
But
You're gonna.
Well, yeah.
but they don't have to be, they get it because the criminal rule says you get the computerized criminal history if there is one available. And if I get one, and I.
Let me
literally-
try, let me try that with the guest one, see what happens.
It's a SSN, and I email it to them. And when I tell police departments, just email it to me.
There was no dash or
You can't do
anything,
that,
right?
fax it to me. Okay, it comes to my email, but fax it to me. Because the lead says you have to fax to me. And then I turn around and that fax comes in. I redact that, some of the departments will redact that SSN for me.
Oh,
And I literally hit it forward
Okay.
to defense attorney.
with the new,
Yeah.
The guest.
the new format we
Yay.
have for OLED to report. So at the end of the day, if I'm gonna send
Well,
you
we have.
a report, all I have to do is go down and click the box and it will get every piece of information.
Yep.
And I can just put what I don't want to send, and I think so.
And it
Oh,
sends a
it says
link,
thanks, I got a
auto
response from the
redacts,
mayor
and then
last
it'll send
week, so I,
me a link.
I was
If
just
the
waiting on the
report
draw.
is saved on the OLED
Mm.
cloud share for me to go on and download it. But yeah,
But have you found
Hmm.
the language?
I just thought it was interesting. So, and I'm like,
because.
I started to read through that today.
Oh. I have, what he sent me,
I
Obviously,
can't.
in white on
I
my, don't know how often
downloaded it
happens,
and
you
blew it
have
up and
dead
put it in,
bodies and we identify them,
and blew it up.
just in case.
So strange.
What is this guy
I
saying?
didn't read the full 14-page
He said Terry told me one
Opinion.
thing about, the grinder pump,
and
that, that we
I
pay
don't
for
really
it, we
care about
maintain it,
details because I know it's backwards.
Oh, okay.
but
I
then,
get it. You know,
after
I get the whole.
she left, and he told her that no, he has to pay for it.
Okay.
You just made it harder for your law enforcement
And where's this
agencies to
person at?
identify a dead body.
Out on two, he said, I
Where did
think
you-
someone on 256, he said, he bought it, and probably maybe it's that Landis lot,
Yeah.
probably,
I'm assuming.
I keep coming back to.
256. and he
He's
was
not
like,
real happy in this.
He's not.
Apparently the realtor told him that he had water and sewer and this and that. Now he's finding out he doesn't have any of it.
Well, I'm sure there'll be more.
Bad thing to say.
That's so pretty.
See the-
Text Jim
Is there a big
Kelly,
blue truck sitting there? Okay, hang on a second, I'll call.
We'll see if the sheriff's association. Where's he trying?
I feel like it's been forever since I've been here.
Does he run twice?
I don't, and I agree, it's not clear. It says that we will provide, it, but he's saying he thinks.
That we will find the reimbursement, but that's not what it says.
Yeah,
Does he?
he says there's a more recent
I think he's
version.
only been.
of the- He said that's an older.
I think there's a different one. But the way it's, the way,
Because this is what I
so the
saw.
way it's always been applicable is you're not paying $15,000 for you to put in a grant fund, just like we don't pay for service funds. You
No,
pay for
that's fine, but I definitely think we need to look at this because the way
That's a lot.
it's
One of the
language is very confusing and definitely not
it.
clear.
But I don't, and again, I don't know that that is the most, I don't know where he found that. Because I can't
I
find that.
searched and I looked.
It's not
and I couldn't
online.
find that language anywhere.
That ordinance is not online.
If there was an ordinance number, that might help us, but I went.
I don't-
Just think I can find.
I don't know what that is.
Essentially, what I got out of it was, it doesn't matter what grinder pump you get, as long as you pay for it. And that's part of the tap fees for the sewer.
It does matter
Well,
because
you can't get one of a lesser grade than what the village says.
if you get something different than what the village says, we're not going to approve it, which means we're not going to maintain it for the life of the grinder pump in the system, which means we're going to portion it out and buy one that is correct.
The reason being
Your mouse.
because we use all he wants.
I
in
mean,
our
there's
system.
something.
So you buy a Taylor, he has a Joe, she has a Bob. Now I'm stocking numerous parts, pumps, pieces, and things to try to maintain.
And knowledge of how different. ones go.
Exactly.
We
That would
can't,
be a very difficult thing to do.
we still can't approve those.
But
'Cause
I thought that there was language that had something to do with it. The village can
I mean, that's
install
what
it,
it
or like
is.
you can have a contractor install it, but the village has to maintain
We
it.
could approve
Yes, if
10
you will
unless you have to.
install one of our unapproved ones.
For what? Oh.
was that on my list?
But I don't know where this ordinance or what this
Because I've
is.
been here, I had.
It's not a
I said
physical-
where I, when I was
Yeah,
here, when I
it's-
wasn't here.
I could barely.
when I need to
it was
abstain.
very blurry. It's like a screenshot from the front of the blurry.
Let's see
and-
here.
I found the closest thing in our book that I could find that started with A, B,
We
and
redid
C.
that recently. That's a-
I
know,
Recently
that's-
updated that one last time.
Yeah, because I remember the
Yeah.
conversation, that's why
So
we're.
you
I
have
was
to
here.
abstain. Not on 1010.
Oh, no, I'm on 9/12.
Yeah.
But I don't know what
this
this.
Well,
And
I was here
wasn't
on
here.
1010, you weren't.
So are we waiting on Chuck?
Chuck's,
I haven't had,
He
I mean, I
should be
looked,
soon.
obviously, there's nothing.
Chuck should be
on there.
zooming in.
Yeah.
He's not up on participants yet.
Did he tell us he was gonna be?
Yeah, he said he might leave.
He left
after-
Sunday.
After the election, and he wasn't sure. He thought he would be around for Veterans Day, but he wasn't sure. but he was almost 100% sure he'd be gone by this meeting. Hey, Brian, check on this. Looks like there's another one. Nope, that's just that. We're on-
He doesn't need to be here.
Not.
All right, so go, click on this.
Not.
Click on this.
Oh, you mean Rick, yes.
Over here on my.
Rick needs to be here.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Oh, finances first.
And that would be Chuck.
Yes.
It's been a while since I've texted Chuck. Just checking to see if we're joining finance. Will you bring up the thing again? And I'll just text him, meeting ID. Was that 892?
Oh, you want that?
Yeah, 892. 1128 8309. Password. Click on copy.
So I got it in a separate document. I got it saved.
4 or 6. I'm gonna set C. I know sometimes if he's in the same spot, wasn't it the last time he was down there, he had some Wi-Fi problems occasionally, the sound went in and out. That's all right, we got time. Look at that.
What are you doing? Well. It's all right. 6:06.
I just send him this, so we can give a minute. You can talk to me, right?
I think we're recording, but we're not saying.
Oh, did you click the button?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're live. We're not recording yet.
But we are live. And unmuted.
We're not muted.
We're live. We got sound.
Recording's paused though.
Yep.
Paused.
There it is.
Yeah, someone can start the meeting. in front of YouTube.
So this would be- Sound like we volunteered to run the meeting until Chuck joins. Thanks.
Finance committee. Yeah. So, the number 14 finance committee started 6:08. Roll call. Kellen's not here. McCreary. Cosgrove present. Thanks, we've got the matter on the issue from, Where's the fiscal officer? Ms. Chop and Ms. Darla Reed. So I just need an approval for the minutes for prior meeting October 10th.
Yes, I have read and reviewed minutes. I move to approve them.
Got a motion made by Mr. McCreary to approve, and I'll second that. Voice aye.
Aye.
Looks like we got the minutes approved of the prior meeting. Are we entertaining any visitors? I think so. Okay. So we've got goals for keep spending within the 2022 appropriations, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of that. Old business was health insurance, and I'm assuming that we renewed the health, or are you?
Yeah, that's why, I stuck that back because I mentioned the last meeting that our rates went up 5%. We were shopping around.
Mhm.
Well, all the employees turned in their paperwork, but the census wasn't coming back in our favor. Our current, what do we call him? Broker, yes, broker, thank you. Jeez, I'm very- Was able to, I mean, we're gonna get us increase, but it's less than 1%. So we're gonna stay with who we have. It's good.
Very good, very good. So we'll go on to new business. So we can go ahead and review monthly financials. Do that, right?
And so first 4 pages, of course, are the bank reconciliations itself. We ended up in October with the bank and book balance of $2,495,917.39. The $21,000 in adjustments, what that is basically what that is, lightning strike, I made the payments. And then when we got the refund check, I applied those to those payments. So they count as receipts, but they take away from the receipts. But it counts as a receipt in a roundabout way. That's what those adjustments are for. Second page there, this is shows what I entered versus what the bank calculates, and there's no differences. So there's no reallocation of money between not reallocation, allocation between the two accounts for the sweep account and the general account. They occurred on the same day. Page 3 is the outstanding checklist of $50,000, $50,713.65.
What's,
Yeah.
and while it's down in the payment listing as well, just because
Okay.
when it got paid.
Okay.
What's the KW roofing one for 17,000?
The roof for the mausoleum.
Okay.
And of course, we had outstanding receipts of $2,342.80. Those are just credit card receipts for utility bills. Any questions on the reconciliation? Next is the check register for October. Last month, we wrote $234,088.23 for the checks last month. Oh, if you see on page 2, you'll see what I'm talking about. You see where it says the $21,000, let's talk about the adjustments. You'll see like on page 2, you'll see a Park National Bank $2,600, I applied $1,200. McNaughton $113, I wrote a check back in May for 13, and I applied that refund check towards that. So that what that does is free up that money again. Of course, the big one there, 16,000 for one in communications.
Yeah, that was radios.
Radios and stuff. So that's where that $21,000 adjustments come in that you see on page 1. American Legal was 40, that's for the codification of ordinances. Buckeye Power Systems. Remember? Buckeye Power Systems.
That was the generator at the water plant.
Oh, that's right. South Central was 11,225. And the Cobblin was for grinder pumps, is that correct? That's grinder pumps. That, I think, we buy the grinder pumps and the people who build a house pay for the grinder pumps.
I don't know if you heard me say, I got an email saying that he had already spoken.
Okay. And there, and we just heard another example of someone that bought the grinder pump and, or we bought it, we supplied it and they reimbursed it.
Correct.
That's it for the checklist. See anything else in the checklist or questions about All right, moving on to the finance report. Interest, not Rita, Star Ohio was $1,329.84. Just keeps going. It's good. I mean, it's good, but it don't make sense. to me. Okay. Rita last month was $93,286.71. I can tell you this month, because I'm beginning our second payment for reading tomorrow. It's above last year at this time too. So right now we're running about 5% ahead of last year. Income tax collections. The revenue status, of course, all the line items in the general fund are should be. And there's the appropriation status, which should be at 83%. 83%, I think that's calculation. And then you can see all the major funds are below that. Water operating is only at 43%, but you gotta remember, we budgeted 700,000 for OPWC. Well, a lot of that's gonna happen next year. So that's why water fund is at 43%. We took away the OPWC part. Maybe we're running about 70 to 80% too.
We're carrying that over.
Yeah, we're carrying that over next year. Yes, that's already been done. You'll see that's been budgeted for next year.
While he's flipping, Chuck just texted me, he's traveling to Florida today, so he will not be able to join us.
Moving on to the appropriations. Appropriations report. General fund, we got 72%, street 78. Yeah, see, there's, like, if you look at the water, there's still 500,000 that's unencumbered there. That gonna be carried over next year. So you take that, or you're looking at the water operating fund at probably 70 to 80%.
Makes sense.
Sewer fund, looking okay. They're looking a lot better this year.
He is looking a lot better this year.
Tools at 72. Anything outstanding on the pool the rest of the years is electricity, telephone. Which, as you can see, we've got $49,000 encumbered in that, so.
I think storm sewer fund that will be a little over too.
Well, the 49,000 is gonna, that 49,000, those are outstanding encumbered, those are out POs we've written.
Okay.
For projects, one being the east side study for 30 grand, another
Maple Street.
Maple Street project.
Okay. This is-
They take away from your available cash balance. That's why it's important to pay all your purchases. Try not to write any in December, Tim.
I will try.
That wasn't aimed at you or.
I don't think so. I never think.
That's all I have.
So we'll go on to, do I have a motion to
Yeah.
approve the reports? Motion carried. Motion to approve, I'll second the approval. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. So the next piece of business is, right, storage.
Yes, and I think I can take the lead on that.
We put it on here because it deals with financial.
Yes. There's been a lot of meetings and things go on with their sewage, the way that they was gonna take care of their plant themselves. And then that, we had several emails get back and forth between Drive and Joey, the water plant. They wanted to rent our hydrant meter. They needed fresh water to do the dredging and everything that they had. So they received that meter. They hooked it up right by the feed mill, ran soft pipe underground to the facility as it was doing the dredging. The rental took place on that on 11/4. And throughout the emails, normally we charge a $2,500 fee, reimbursement fee as a, if you tear the meter up and we buy a new deposit, basically. We waived that because we knew how much that they was going to use water wise, use a lot more than what we thought. So that went out on August 16th. It got returned on November the 4th. Beginning reading and end reading. I'll go through those numbers. They used 3,671,100 gallons. The rate that we was going to charge them throughout our emails was 2 cents a gallon, which is what we sell our bulk water for. That equates to $73,422. They have some newer, higher up people over there throughout our sewer plant meetings that we've had with our engineers, their engineers, the new staff that they have on board. I called to give them a heads up that this was coming, because the last meeting we had, they told us that they was already 100,000 over budget. Their fiscal year always ends on October 31st, odd day, but whatever. So they throughout the meeting, they let us know that we've done what we're gonna do. We plan on doing this thing annually. So we'll be adding every spring project, that's what we plan on doing. So I can send an email out. I had the engineer and the plant manager, they both called me to give them a heads up, that I know you said you went over this, but we are going to invoice you for this amount of money. The engineer was not very surprised at all. The plant manager was kind of shocked, laid back a little bit. He asked, he said, I know you can't answer this, but can you ask, is there anything we can do with that? Can we break it up into some quarters to pay that debt? Can we get a little break on the water usage on that debt? That's kind of why we're bringing this up here.
And so they're gonna do this annually?
Yes. Like I said, the new plant manager so far has everything that, since I've been here, they didn't do everything that they said they was gonna do prior to this, but this new plant manager, everything he said he was gonna do, he has done. He's actually kind of went over and above. The communication has been great. They got their engineering firm back in with them, and our engineering firm, so we don't have upsets at our plant. Just a history. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just relaying what I was asked.
So moving forward, I say, their fiscal year ended already. So this is billed on their fiscal to them for their fiscal year.
That's correct, from the way I understood it.
I think what we wanted, we didn't know if we wanted, if council wanted to give a break and, not charge them 2 cents a gallon, maybe $0.015, something to, or that's what.
So are they wanting to make installment payments on this debt?
They was, yeah, 2 cents a gallon. I mean, you see, that's a big, and it is. I mean, that's huge. And that's why I didn't want to just hit it on the face by saying my own voice. So I called and told them, see, that's a big hit, but can I pay that and like break it in thirds so I can do a quarter, a third this quarter, a third next quarter, a third next quarter, or something of that nature. And I guess that's what I'm asking the council for, is, which direction would you want me to go? Would you like me to reduce that rate to $0.015 and say, well, reduce the rate and you pay this one total invoice? Or do we leave it at the 2, break it down to the thirds and just split it one time?
I guess I'm of two minds. If our bulk rate is 2 cents per gallon, then they get charged 2 cents per gallon. So if we want to break it up, because it only have $73,000 appropriated right now, I get that. We can do that. But when we started working with them to take their sanitary, they knew they were going to have so much, and we negotiated that rate as well. So to me, current rate is 2 cents. That's what they pay. And if they need to split it up, that's fine. But if this is going to be something they do annually, then let's add an addendum to the contract that we separately meter, when they're going to do this, and we know, and that bulk water can be billed at a lesser rate. Kind of like when we talked about a couple weeks ago in council, the water tower needing cleaned on the outside. We contract to clean the inside, it's part of our contract, why the outside part of it. It'll be cheaper if we plan it that way. I think for them, it could be the same thing. If they know they're going to do this, let's just add it to our contract.
Right.
Monitor it, and then everybody wins.
And that's kind of the way the engineer had spoke to me about it. He said, as soon as you get all the numbers, exactly how much water to use and things of that nature, I'd like to have those so I can incorporate it into going further in the future. I've got those numbers, because we had no idea.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
It's
know
kind of
that
sense of that.
Well, and-
Yeah,
and because they
exactly.
don't know how to budget for it.
they didn't know what it was,
Yeah.
yeah, what it was gonna be. They had no
So
idea.
in the future, we may raise both water rates potentially.
It could go either way, couldn't it?
It could go either way.
Right.
I mean, yes,
Probably need
So
to,
we can peg it at half of.
Guys, Greif is a huge company. They have money.
they do.
I used to compete against them, so.
Okay.
No. 2 cents, whatever it is.
And
it
that's
is.
fine. I mean,
And they're
and-
huge, so,
no
So
problem.
give them some time to pay it back, or
Okay.
whatever.
yeah, maybe
I'm
this
okay with
time.
that.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking is the direction to go with.
I would say maybe this time, but they need to incorporate it into their budget.
And I don't think I really honestly don't think it'll happen again next year, because they'll have these numbers and
Good.
be prepared for that.
They're huge.
And we let them know that when I talk to them.
I'm okay with giving them a chance for installment payments for that moving until the next round. of-
Yeah, the next round was just, that's what it is. I understand.
Well, and to her point, though, they do have money. So if they say we would like to talk about a rate, well, then present us our numbers and
Yeah.
we can talk at that point, because when we gave them the rate we did for the collection, it's because they were doing some work that benefited us as well.
Correct.
So if they ask for, well, can we get a discounted rate in the future? We'll get your numbers and we can sit down and talk about that.
Okay.
and it's good, this, you have this based on information.
The question is,
Moving
do
forward.
we need some kind of resolution or anything
No.
for that, or just an agreement between the village administrator and the person with the contract?
I think if you just did a quick motion to just give council or committee blessing on installment payments without penalty or interest or anything like that, just so the record's clear. That's all you would need.
Yeah.
We don't need an ordinance or anything.
No, we don't
for it.
need.
It's just a motion from the committee.
Yes.
Yeah,
To allow some.
Motion for the committee to have council.
I think the committee.
Just a committee.
Yeah,
So I'll entertain a motion from the committee to allow installment payments on the current contract.
I'll second that. And we're talking 3 or 4 payments, you said,
I'm
You're
gonna
starting
try
a
to
new
get it
fiscal
done
year.
in 3.
okay.
and it's part of discussing how we do this, so we don't have to do it in council. The other council members present, anybody got a problem with installment payments?
We're just talking 1 or 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, I,
That's
3
fine.
at the
Yeah.
most.
They need to pay what they need.
Mhm.
So we've got a motion and second, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. That was easy. So we've got, the next thing, this piece of legislation, ordinance 2022-43, coming out of committee to renew Mr. Faco's contract.
That's
for
correct.
Services.
So this is something that we have to do every 2 years with Jeff, because unlike me, who represents other villages through my firm, we employ Jeff. He's a village employee, so we have to have an annual, biannual contract just to renew that. It's attached, and I don't even think it increased in cost.
No, it didn't, but
He's the same. But we pick up his health insurance.
we pick up his helm, he pays in the PERS. We
Yeah.
take, we contribute to his retirement, I should say.
Yes,
Um,
so we just, and it can it'll go to council tonight. It doesn't have to be an emergency.
It can do 3 readings, but it will take effect.
It'll take effect January 1.
It'll take effect January 1, 1, 2. We do have 3 council meetings left for it, yes.
So
Are we having the second one in December?
No, but we'll have tonight, I believe it's on for a first reading. And then we have one more.
Oh, yeah.
In
Gotcha.
November. I know it's the 14th and it's our first council meeting. It seems a little late, but Yeah,
So, yes, I'll sponsor that.
that's your motion to send it to council.
I'll make a motion to send that on to council. Second. Favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. So, another ordinance, 2023 budget. 42.
Yeah, I figured this would take longer than to talk about than the Jeffs. That's why.
Yeah.
Reversed them out.
So, I looked it over. The same stuff.
Brian, what's your update on it?
My update on it,
Because I see a red number on here.
yeah, that red number is the water fund and see, of course, this was done before I was aware of the Greif thing. So that red number is now a positive number because that's revenue that I wasn't anticipating. So there you go. How much is that?
9576.
No. The revenue from Greif.
73.
So that 73,000 is now, or 9,500 is now a $65,000 surplus. Okay.
So, yeah. So,
Yeah, it was in red because it's in, that's one that's, we're continuing to look at. It's in the hole right now.
And that's for your 2023 carryover based on.
Yeah, that's just based on what I'm projecting carryover right now. I'm in the mood of, there's the cash balances, what we got outstanding income POs. And I'm trying to factor in other things, what revenue is going to be coming in. And it's still $9,500 in the hole, so.
But then you got
now we
a
know.
year to come up with $9,500 in cuts. It's actually, that's just
Yeah.
projected carry.
Yeah. So that's just a summarization of all the funds. On page 1, mine's not numbered like yours. Because I printed mine off before I did that. And starting on page 2 and continue on to page 3 and 4 are the projected revenues. So I guess I'm fielding questions, I guess. I mean, for general fund, I'm based on this year's, I'm projecting $975,000 in collections and income tax. I confirmed with Rita. They're good with that assessment. So plus we're ahead of the game last year. So of course, I took into consideration all the police contracts.
The grave opening fees includes the increase that we did.
Well, grave opening fees is, oh, wow. I mean, if you look, okay, the column before, that's actual revenues through October. And we collected 12,000. That's because people are aware that we're raising our rates. They're starting to buy once. The previous year was
Good for
10,
them.
I mean, last year or $7,200. Last year we only got 1,200. So I don't know how many nobody bought it. So I just leave it to say, I just keep it the same. And grave opening fees, I mean, it's relatively consistent. That's not good, I guess. It looks like Shelter House is finally going to. We didn't make it two years ago, 2025. I've been budgeting 7,500 since we raised the rates. It looks like this year we're going to finally meet that.
Oh, we raised the rates and then we had COVID for a year.
Yeah, and then it took a while to come back. Yeah. I did project 12,000 in interest.
The rates bonus might be there.
No,
We got more to go.
we got more to go here. What page? My page numbers are different than yours.
3 is what starts the state highway fund.
Okay, that's page 3. We off copy. I did remove the urban canopy budget. I got an email late October that we were turned down for the grant, for the ODNR grant this year, for next year, I should say. I had it in the budget, I removed it.
They say why.
They did not say why. They did not. I can check the email and get back with you. American Rescue Plan, oh, that's 615 is what we're getting from the county.
But we gotta-
Washington Street.
We gotta pony that up first.
Yes, we have, I mean, we've got $100,000 in outstanding POs right now in that fund, but I'd like to use the rest of the money to pay our share to get reimbursed, to keep that rather than.
Yeah.
Cause I don't want to get into any kind of more debt. We did submit the application for OPWC round 37 for the paving project, the Brown, Coomer, Fremont Loop for the paving. Haven't heard, but it's in the budget right now. Our share is $50,000. Grant share is $138,000. Before Terry had left, she kept saying my numbers for water and sewer were wrong. Well, she didn't think she thought they were too low. They weren't wrong, it was too low. So I've been analyzing water and sewer for the last couple of weeks, and come to try to think of it, I was lowballing it a little bit, so I took what we've got through October and averaged it out what we get a month and multiplied it by 12. That took 3% of that number for the increase that goes into effect next year, and so 490,000 I'm comfortable with. And of course, there's the 529,000 OPWC. Wait.
And just so, and so on going back, because the water one and sewer one, we gotta watch closely with the consumer rights. You took what we were receiving, not what we were billing, right? That way it's what we've actually received and stuff.
I'm
versus
taking
we're
what
actually
we've received
collecting.
and what we're actually collecting. I didn't, not billing. I took what
What we're collecting. Okay, so cash instead of accrual.
Right.
Okay.
Sewer, same thing. I'm projecting 720,000. Swimming pool, we've got another chunk of 70,000 coming from foundation, various grants that's been approved for. We gotta have a meeting with Mr. I sent him an email. I haven't heard from him, Mr. Landis. We got the 20,000, and I think we have to at least encumber it or spend it by the end of the year, and or we have to return it. I think.
I'll hear back from him tomorrow-ish. Wednesday at the latest, let me know and I'll reach back out to him.
Well, I sent it to him in an email because I sent him an invoice for his subdivision plan review.
Yeah, still, if you haven't heard back from him, let me know.
Okay. The rest of them are pretty consistent, what we've been budgeting revenue wise for the last 3 or 4 years. So any questions on revenues? You see anything that out there that I'm missing? Okay. That's it for revenues. And starting on page 6 is the meat and potatoes of the budget. Do you have any questions on page 6? Yes, the police department is budgeted at $557,960. Yes. Wages are $213, severance and vacation payouts. I'm trying to calculate if people, it's very hard. I just take, these are the vacation and severance payouts is based on, basically, you're gonna see this in all the funds, the major funds. We have a policy, you can carry over 80 hours of vacation, anything. If you have 120 hours and you're gonna go out and carry over 80 hours, then you get paid for the remaining vacation time. at the end of the year. So I plugged, I got a spreadsheet that shows, okay, Missy gets this many hours and she can carry this, so she can be paid if she never takes vacation, you don't get, so that's, I'm using the maximum amount I can think of when it comes to that.
Well, on the police budget, most of that increase is the SRO officers, which the school is reimbursing us for, which gets under the revenues for police contracts, so.
Our actual number on that, if you deduct the 155.6, the budget is really in real money 402.6.
On that takes out all the PERS and all the school contributions, all of that stuff.
It was, it's the amount of money you ran across the top.
The random top.
Yeah.
Well, that's that top, the part-time officers, the school reason is out of that second line, the 95.
No, what I'm saying is the total police enforcement, 557.
Yeah.
You gotta take out the 150 something.
Okay,
whatever,
okay.
in order to get the actual, but because we get almost $160,000 of contract reimbursement.
Medical hospitalization, why is the 2022 budget drop and then it jumps back? So that,
Medical?
It's
Okay.
43.9, 46.8,
Yeah.
29.5, and now it's 59.
Well, right now, I have two, Chief Tussey and Brian Holbrook are on insurance. Devin does not take the insurance, but per our policy, we pay him an additional wage of half of what it would cost us for their monthly insurance. I don't know who Chief Tussey is hiring. They swore in tonight. I don't know if they're taking the insurance. I tried to project what kind of insurance. I went full bore there, family. Okay, that's, if she is signing up for insurance, I don't know if they are.
The two are part-time.
Okay, but one, the full, I'm talking about full-time. The
I'll know
full-time,
that tomorrow.
okay. If they take our insurance and it's a single guy or a single person,
Single person.
well, there you go. That number's gonna change. So if it's a he,
But
she,
but it's the
is she
budget
single?
for-
She's saying.
Okay, so that number's gonna change, Rick, because I was thinking family.
Understand
Yeah,
the wild swing.
Yeah, yeah.
that's the hard part in budgeting, all the fringe benefits that we'll call them, when you do detailed budgets, because they swing so wildly.
And if they take family coverage, we don't cover that police coverage there.
No,
No.
we pay 80% of insurance coverage.
For that
Employees
employee, but
responsible for
He's
20%.
adding his family to the insurance policy itself. Yeah. But they pay 20% of the cost.
But part of that is also included in the school contract, that they pay the costs.
And we were sticking with rank and right here because our health insurance got even better news a couple weeks ago. It's only going up less than 1% now, so.
These days it's practically the same.
As you see, I'm hoping I'm budgeting enough for streetlights. I'll double check that again based on the last couple of months, but if I remember correctly, it was last year when I analyzed, it was the first month of January when we got the increase, didn't we? I
Yeah.
think so, if I remember right. So, I don't know, maybe I can bump that one up another couple grand just to be safe, I guess. What do you think? What's that?
And awfully high and just increasing, so yeah,
I think,
probably the budget. will be high.
I'll check.
And it's not metered in any way.
Streetlights are not.
I can't fully understand how that works exactly.
They just take, it's kind of like they did the Christmas lights. I gotta fill out this whole form, they take the
It doesn't meter
wattage and the number and everything else, and then they do some of their math.
Basically, they know how much energy the light takes.
Mhm.
Well, but they don't upgrade them to LED, so it's
I
like
know.
lower.
So they know, so they know how much it takes, they know roughly how long it's on per year.
And if it's
multiply by
LED, we can
and-
cut that
and-
by 80%.
And that is the only account that is not on the locked rate.
I don't.
Well, and now everyone understands the problem with them not wanting to flip to LED because our loss by cutting it by 80% is less income for them.
Right.
Moving
Just
on.
out of curiosity.
We do it ourselves. I'm not sure how long.
I've
it'll
already
take to
looked into
recoup
that.
the cost.
I did look into that, and no, they will not let us do mixers. I asked, let me take over the street lighting.
Define not let me.
Yeah, that's how I was thinking of that.
No,
Because-
because we have to change the whole arm and we have a process that we go through. They belong to us, we maintain them.
So what's it cost for the village to put in our streetlights like Reynoldsburg, Pataskala, Whitehall?
LED solar
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
with motion
I mean,
sensors.
A couple of years ago, I did a whole bunch of eminent domain work at Whitehall because they put in new streetlights.
Don't we have enough money left over from our 2022 budget to probably do that?
I mean, how many, what does it cost for us to put our own streetlights in it LED?
I can certainly look into that.
Or at a minimum, even if we don't do all of them, down the
Big
main,
projects.
down the main drag where there's sidewalks. And we can reduce the number that we have to pay for, you know, by an order of magnitude.
Well, you got to also remember, what's 112 times 12, about 100, 1,600 of that is street lighting, line item is Horner Road and Creek View. That comes out of that too. There's with South Central.
Helen Drive.
Mhm.
Helen Drive.
I don't know Creek View.
It's Helen.
It runs, but we're using capital credits right now. We won't have a payment on Creek View for like
Okay.
3 years. Because they charge us $88 a month, and we're still got $1,800 credit.
Alright.
Full roads.
So, but yeah, I mean,
Turn the
I'm like
lights
Rick,
on.
it can't be that bad, especially since we can do a lot of the work in-house.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's conduit wire and pole bases.
Uh-huh.
Now, yeah, okay, they're on their poles, we'd have to set poles.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, like,
Yeah, they
in,
won't let us
They
do
won't let us do them.
no, they won't let them do it. That's what I'm saying, even if we don't do them on their poles and we do the main drag areas where there's sidewalks and you can get the poles like they have in Lancaster and Pickerington, Whitehall, Reynoldsburg, that are a little more decorative. Sit a little closer to the ground so that they light the sidewalk.
Be
a little
like the
bit better.
ones by the car company that, I think it's Helen Drive. What is that drive? It goes back to the apartments.
Oh, Vivian?
Vivian
Drive,
yeah. It'd be the same thing, basically.
Yeah, they're not, I mean, you get them at Menards at Christmas time for $120. I'm sure you could probably get them a little cheaper. at
Well,
Lowe's, so.
but municipal quality ones are probably gonna be. so-
Well, yeah,
You're gonna have
they're
breakaway
they're gonna be
places and
more,
several
but-
grand. Yeah.
But still,
Yeah, they,
you know, even if it's $60,000 and it cuts this by half, we're getting a return on investment in 4 years.
And they'll look.
again, yeah, better quality and we can maintain them where, I mean, a lot of the streetlights are out.
The chatter you'll hear about doing that will be.
Yeah.
Positive for
Mm.
change.
Cool.
Page 7, then you get into the cemetery and parks and zoning.
And of course, some of these numbers that go across on the personnel side, when we hire a village administrator, may change depending on what the village administrator comes in at, because the VA salary is split across streets, water, wastewater,
In general.
in general. And I think we just have it in admin or the government side for general.
Yeah,
I mean,
under
in
the-
regards, some of it could legitimately go into zoning and all of the different areas as well, if we really wanted to be that granular about it.
I mean, other than just trying to factor in pay raises, very little's changed on these lines. I mean, I'm looking at. Oh, I know. Looking at a spreadsheet. Come up with that. Oh, the mayor's not here. It has to do with zoning inspector. What is C14? Oh, there you go. Done. Okay. Budgeting $16 an hour for the mayor's not here.
What is housing and meals?
Housing and meals, that would be when, a couple of years ago, Terry decided, spring from, well, retirement meals.
Oh, I was just.
Yeah, retirement. We had one for Terry here and who else? Barb. No, but who else? There was someone else. It's-
And what's the?
We bought Subway.
Oh, it's just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was nothing there, obviously, 2020 or.
No.
Nothing budgeted this year, so I'm just curious. What's the increase in workers' comp, is that because of the increase?
Okay, what page you want?
On the gym
On page 8.
line.
Yeah, workers' comp, tripled, more than tripled.
That, and I'm rethinking, I try to allocate that to all the departments based on the number of employees, so I'm rethinking that whole percentage. I think I had X% was the police department, X% water, X% sewer, X% here. I'm getting a final count in my head on actual employees, and I'm trying to rethink that percentage.
And right below that, electricity dropped by a third.
Yes, last year, I budgeted really high to take in, but I locked in rates, so I had more than enough, so I was able to reduce the electricity on that particular account. Mayor, otherwise, like zoning on page, I'm only budgeting 17,500 for wages for zoning. I don't know what the plan is for, and that's based on 1,040 hour, part-time
Well, and
at
that's,
$16 an hour.
well, and that's the problem. Some of it will depend on once we get a VA in here, what they can and can't do. Because if the VA can do zoning and has experience and can do it, then we might be okay. Right now, there are places out there looking for part-time zoning officers paying $30 an hour. Cut that time in half, 500 hours. If you did 1,000 hours at 16, easy math, cut that in half, you get 500 hours at 30. Is it enough or not? 500 hours. We've had 100 applications, 120 applications this year. That might work out. But again, some of that can fall back onto the village administrator as well. So I guess that's a long way of saying.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to increase that number at this time because I think it's reasonable for what we have for now.
Okay.
I thought repair and maintenance of buildings is like 1,400, 14,000, 5,800,
Where we at?
$1,000.
Page
Second line from the bottom.
Oh, okay.
General government.
5,800 is roof repair this year. 14,600. Oh, that was when what did we do last year? Painted. We had last year we painted the police department, painted the street department, painted, what else did we paint? We did some work here too.
Parking lots too.
Yeah, so that's why. I don't know. I mean, do you think that's too low? I mean, yeah, that number might be too low too. At least we have something budgeted.
Are we gonna do windows for this building at all? Is that factored in? We talked about it at one time.
That wouldn't go here. That would, well, it could be repair and maintenance of building, I guess. Replacing windows. Yeah.
Yeah, I just based on the last couple of years, thousands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, and
That's why you're looking at this.
I mean, in some regards, even $5,000 to repair, for just maintenance of all the village buildings that are just old seems a little low.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about how many shelter houses, and
Yeah,
this building,
Well, I'll take a look at that and all.
yeah, I mean, and if we.
it just seems unrealistic.
Yeah,
Okay. Council, I increased the professional technical up to 10,000. The reason why, that's codification of ordinances, but we also get sometimes outside attorney fees. I've gotten 2 or 3 from Steve and Snyder.
Yeah.
Because they've just been having them help us with the easement dispute between us and the school. And I just don't, I get these input, oh, thanks. I got another one last week, didn't I? Nothing's really changed. I'm assuming the magistrate and prosecutor is gonna, wages are gonna stay the same?
yeah.
Okay. I tried to account for increases with agreements with the Baldwin groups that Missy uses in this. Fiscal officer went down a lot of this year. I don't have it, and I did budget for police cruisers, chief. It's on page 9. I took a wild guess.
Right now, I can tell you it is a wild guess.
I'm just, that's another thing. That's another thing. That's not on the revenue side. I gotta budget that. I have to budget that. If we're gonna take out a loan, I have to budget that loan proceeds. So if you can give me some numbers so I can add to this budget, I appreciate it, sir.
Didn't we say like $40,000?
Yeah, the problem we've got, and we may have discussed this, but so Ford Motor Company in their infinite wisdom come out and said, they sent out information to all police department, fire departments, that if you try to order an emergency vehicle now, the earliest you'll get it is 24, maybe. And there's a lot of reasons behind it. None of them make any sense. So what happened was everybody that had these $13,000, $14,000, 45,000 mile used vehicles now want $18,000, $19,000 for those because people are staying in line to buy. The 2 we're buying for the school's paying for, I had to go to Michigan to get. So that was as close as I could find. So it literally changes every week.
But if I got a ballpark figure. I can-
I'll get you something. I'll get numbers for you.
So the total general fund, 1,114,000, but I'll look at those. I've circled numbers here to reevaluate. And together with the projected carryover and then projected revenues, we're still looking at $450,000 influx or carryover for the next year. So we're not looking too bad in the general fund. I don't have anything budgeted in capital outlay. I have not a clue. I mean, well, I should, yeah, the cars.
Yeah.
So. I don't know of anything else that, I mean, we talk about projects, all the other departments, but I didn't hear anything here wise what we were going to do that thing. And Chief, I think this year, you were gonna do flooring. Were you still gonna do that at your place?
No, Terry, this flooring all in here was apparently paid for COVID money.
Right.
So Terry had thought that she had that money to do the police department because the carpet. My understanding is that carpet had been down for 5 years before I got there, and I've been there 16 years. And it is ratty. My wife comes up once a year and brings our professional rug scrubber up and does it, and it literally looks like black water.
Well, I mean, we could,
But I don't know.
if you want. That could be something to add to the budget if you.
Carpet out, but something
Something down.
that's able to.
I mean, it's not that big of an area.
No, we had,
I think
the same people that did this came down and gave us an estimate, and I thought for what they had to do, it would be reasonable.
Get that to Brian and figure out.
So that was back in February. That was like
Well, I-
five or $6 grand, I think it was.
Yeah,
wasn't
I'll have it back now. That's just,
it? It was with a variety of folks.
that's one Terry said you guys use.
So that's pretty much a general fund there. I mean, I've circled some things here to look into, and keep you updated.
Have maybe even a few windows upstairs, just since it's heated in.
Well, that's up to you. That's,
Yeah, I'm just bringing this up.
I mean, if you want me to add that, just tell me to, and I will.
I'm bringing up.
From what I understand, I could be wrong, the third floor, when we talked about, those windows aren't as bad as some of the other ones. In the theater inside.
I mean, there are some that literally the panes are broken and being held with tape.
Probably most of the ones that are that bad are on the south exposure where they put the roof. or whatever.
Yes.
All right, moving on. Page 10 starts the special revenue fund, street fund. I've incorporated Tim's $236,000 of paving projects. That includes a $50,000 our contribution to Round 37 Road PWC that we submitted last week. So I was able to capture that. Everything else is about the same, and he's looking at a $47,000 carryover.
When I was looking at, the only thing that really stuck out to me was with prices of everything right now, is 500 for work boots for the guys. Going to be enough.
Okay, here's the policy on that. The policy is they can go out and spend, get work boots for $190. We pay 100. The rest comes out of their paycheck.
Well, and I guess that's my point is, if we keep that, that's fine, but, you know, a year ago, I bought boots for $100 to use at the farm, and the other week I bought the same boots, and they were $180 or something like that.
That's, I mean,
So, I mean, it's council's try to just say, you know, we keep it, and that's the policy we have. I don't know if it's worth discussing now or increasing, because I guess if that increases, it would take a change in the employee manual ordinance to increase that, but
I mean, yeah, some of them buy $200 pair. Brad, I think his cost $225. But I paid 100. He paid 125.
the flip side to that is also, we don't provide a lot of reimbursement to the police officers, so due to one, we should try to be uniform, because the officers, we have them provide pretty much everything. So, but that's the only one that jumped out at me, like, wow, you can go through that real quick.
What were you saying about the officers and their uniforms?
We provide them their shirts and their pants, but they provide their guns, bullets.
To outfit an officer, firearm, belt, boots, vest is about a little shy of $3,000 for their equipment, their outlet. We buy, if you're a part-time or volunteer, we buy one short sleeve, one long sleeve, a pair of pants. And if you're a full-time, we buy 2 long sleeve, 2 short sleeve, and 2 pair of pants. Everything else they buy themselves.
And that's once a year,
I'm sorry.
once a year.
Yeah, unless it's a replacement, like they tear it up, you know, in the line of duty, something we replace it.
Obviously, clothing and shoes and uniforms would come up for certain.
It's crazy.
Sorry, yep, just
State highways, left it the same. We really don't spend very much on state highway related stuff. Permissive motor vehicle, Terry and I, before she left, we thought it'd be best to not budget anything out of this fund. As you can see, the carryover project is 18,000. Currently, the only thing budgeted out of that account is a couple of the OPWC loans. So And even with the influx of money next year, you're looking at a projected 51,000. So we decided that it might be best if we leave this fund alone next year. Of course, CARES Act has been fully funded with the total monies we have on our own, plus Fairfield County contributions. So, Mayor's Core Computer Fund, nothing budgeted this year because Missy just got a new computer this year. So next year, I mean, she got a new computer this year, nothing's budgeted next year. Page 12, as you can see, I've budgeted for around 37. Hopefully we get that. Page 13, this is the water fund. As you can see, it's in a hole right now, but that's going to change. I've incorporated all of Joey's little projects, meter upgrade. Of course, I included prior year OPWC, carry over to this year, includes our local share. He's going to upgrade the brine system next year. He's going to GST clean out, whatever that is. I have not a clue.
Ground storage. tank.
Okay, ground storage, okay. And of course, wash the tower, or power wash the tower. So all that's been budgeted for. Page 14 is the sewer fund. And like I said, Brad's doing a lot better. I remember, geez, it seems like everything's breaking down at the wrong time of year. Now we're finally staying ahead of the game with all the preventative maintenance we've been doing. I just jinxed it, so let me knock on wood. I've incorporated all of his projects. Biotank diffusers of steel for the blower room, phase 1 of the sludge building, and an exhaust fan for the blower.
Or all cassettes run on auto. Or all the cassettes run on auto. We're gonna make rain.
No, even after Saturday.
When was the last time they run it? Maybe,
Over a decade, wasn't it?
It's been 7 to 8 years at least, I'd say, a minimum.
that's how they were designed. I mean, they should have been designed. Like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
That's been quite some time.
So, Brad's doing good. I hope he stays he's doing good. Pool. I've incorporated what we can buy, towards the pool improvements. And of course, the normal budget for the pool. Anything come out of the water improvement fund is North Factory water line.
That's that will be us.
That's us doing that. I think that's in conjunction.
That's in conjunction with the Washington water.
Yes. We have nothing budgeted out of the sewer improvement fund, which is good, because we need to get this fund. We need to start funding this fund. Hopefully with the development coming in, that money, the tap money goes into this fund. But we need to, membranes are in what, year 3, 2?
Be year 3.
This is year 3 next year. We gotta find a way. I have an idea of how to fund this fund. We gotta find a way to start incorporating money into this fund so we can pay for the membranes when it's time to pay for the membranes without going out, taking out $500,000 loan. And page 16 is the sewer debt, water debt. Last year I said I was going to pay off a couple. I didn't get a chance to do that this year because I screwed up my numbers somehow. But I still think we can pay off a couple of OPWC loans next year. Right now, what you see in front of you is based on what we would pay normally. So if we want to pay off a couple of OPWC loans, I'd have to adjust these numbers. And this time I'm not going to screw up. I'm going to highlight which ones I'm going to pay off. I didn't do that last year and I got confused with which one. You want to see? Because as you can see, we're starting to build a little cash flow so we can pay a couple of these off. And with the turnaround, by doing that, maybe reevaluate the sewer and water debt fees we charge per month. maybe it might be time to pay off, maybe we might be able to lower it a little bit. Might make them happy.
We raise it by 3%.
They don't get raised 3%. That's a flat rate. They don't get- But yeah, we raised 3%, but hey, what's going on? We need to go 3%, but we're gonna take away a couple bucks here. Storm. I think we have one thing budgeted next, that's the Christ Methodist Church drainage. That's estimated at 48,500.
What's that?
Oh, yeah.
That's part of that.
What Jeff.
Yeah.
So that is a snapshot. So grand total budget next year with everything. $5.8 million, close to 5.9.
I believe the budget is on for a first reading at the council tonight. So that it can go through readings and as everyone digests the numbers, thinks about them. Brian's got a few to answer on, update, stuff like that. You get window estimates or something like that to add in stuff.
Yeah.
That was for the whole.
That was back, how many years ago?
Yeah.
Right, right.
You're saying windows for where?
For the whole building.
Yeah.
That was like 10 years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, so you guys have. As it pops up, obviously it'll go 3 readings, at least 3 readings. So,
That's what I just
Yeah,
need to
time
go
that.
around and, even if it's a half dozen windows, evaluating this as a top priority.
So you okay to take this council and
Yeah, so, yes. Motion to the budget.
And to take budget to council.
Favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We take the budget as proposed to council.
that being the Curry sponsor?
Yes.
All right. So we've gone through everything on the agenda. Is there anything else? About 6:00 p.m. Journal, fair to say aye. Aye. Adjournment, we adjourned at 19:12 p.m. Thank
Ready?
you, everybody.
go for it.
All right, we're gonna call to order the Rules Committee at 7:12 PM. Roll call, please.
Reading,
Present.
Schaffner, present, Foreman.
Present.
We also have an attendance, Mary, maybe, Brad Nicodemus, interim VA Tim Little, Police Chief Mike Tussey, Fiscal Officer Brian Bidler. We also have Brandon Creary and Wade Cosgray. Approval, I need a motion to make approval of the September 12th meeting.
Form makes a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I second it. All in favor? Oh, roll call.
Foreman?
Yes.
Abstain. Yes.
So it's passed. Passed 2-0. Okay.
All right. Need approval for our motion to approve the October 10th meeting.
Form makes a motion to approve as written.
Schaffner seconds.
Roll call.
Okay, Foreman,
Yes.
Schaffner,
Yes.
Reed.
Abstain. Do we have any visitors present? Nope, and no. Employee evaluation form. We don't have any other updates, do we?
Not yet, not on that.
Not
think
yet.
that's, I think. what did she
Do we have any old business?
say?
All right, new business, 600 West Market Street. Heavy duty trucks driving behind the alley of the building. What's that all about? Anybody know?
Yes.
Okay.
The gal that lives, that has the, what's her name?
Dedicated mortgage.
Dedicated Mortgage, the building across the street from Schaffner's. She complained that heavy trucks are going in an alley behind her, tearing up the alley. And she would like to put, did she write it?
I did not talk to her myself. I thought you did.
No.
But
She was wanting to know, she was wanting to know if,
she wants to put no through trucks.
yeah, no through trucks.
I think there's a truck that deadheads and he parks the rig behind the house using the alley to get there, because
That's correct.
I went down that road and saw a rig that was there.
And does he live on the alley? I
Yeah,
mean,
the house lives on Market Street and the driveway is in the back.
It's just
Well-
the other side of the barn company.
It's
Where
just
you
this
live.
side of Marble Park.
Yeah, just this side of it.
Just, yeah, I'm sorry, just the
Just
side
east
of
of
the barn.
Boulevard.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that blue truck.
Mhm, that is the one.
It
Because,
doesn't work for them.
Oh, he does not.
as I say, because sometimes it would go down the alley next to Butch's shop and sometimes it would go down the alley behind that building in the school parking
I
lot.
think the problem is kind of going away on the
Yeah, I investigated the pothole that was on here that I got a work order for. And it's some broken up asphalt right around a manhole lid that we have. It's not really a pothole. So as soon as we can get some pool patch out again, we kind of kick our butt immediately. So we will take care of that part, but I really never seen big holes put up, so we need for a sign.
Guess we just
Well, no through trucks
wouldn't solve that.
Yeah,
Because
it
you-
wouldn't be
because
a
you-
single bit of difference. I don't think we have a through truck problem. I think we
Right,
had a
exactly.
person that lives there truck.
Right.
well, and if he lives there and that's his only driveway, though, you can't
Exactly.
change him.
Well, I don't allow semi truck parking at residential.
We just did an ordinance on that. You can park your rig, but not your trailer.
Right.
And he didn't have it.
That's all he had.
He didn't have a trailer. He just had a tractor park. So I guess, well, if it pops back up again, we'll keep an eye on it otherwise. Sounds good.
So we're just kind of
Yep.
tabling that one. Okay, the VA position. What do we know about that?
So I've got 5 applicants so far. Brian sent out the materials, the job description. None of the applicants have everything. And I think that's going to be where we're at, which is why we said, well, let's kind of look at, do we need, is it one VA? Is it a VA and a deputy VA, or a VA and, what did you call it? We used to have, the services director. That, to split off the duties.
Is the service director person in here or over there?
Well, that's the discussion. I mean, you have, you could have a village administrator and a services director, and village administrator is over everything, but the services director focuses on streets and utilities. Or, it's how do we want to set it up? Because again, going back to that prior conversation, I'm worried we're not going to get someone with all the necessary skill sets for where we were at in our salary range before.
At this point, if we're getting a new administrator, we can include them in that conversation.
Well, and that's kind of, as I was looking at some of this as well, is on one hand, we have the opportunity to say, here's how we kind of want to do this. On the other hand, get a new administrator and figure out pros and cons, and because some of it is dependent upon that particular administrator's strengths and weaknesses. Might get someone really good at the day-to-day project management, HR, zoning and stuff and says, well, I can research the EPA stuff, but I trust my operators of record and rely on them and maybe someone else over there. So I guess that then gets to the question of, I've got 5 applicants, one that has had a couple problems sending me stuff, but told them it wasn't a big deal because we haven't done interviews yet. So there might be 6 that come in. One that I don't know that would meet any of the criteria. So the next question is how we want to go about the interview process. And I'll say it like this because this council is vastly different than the last time we hired. Last time we hired a council, there was one person that worked on council and everybody else was retired. And so it became a council meeting in the middle of the day to interview everybody. And I don't know that that's practical now.
Are we going to be able to preview these applicants?
Well, and that, yes, I can send out the applications. And we have to be careful though, because we can't have a meeting, so we can't send them out and discuss via email. So
Right.
I think we should interview this person. Absolutely. Just is it does council just want to say, a subcommittee or council president, rules chair and me? How do you want to do the interview? At the end, once we narrow it down to 1 or 2 people, does all of council want to interview the person, or do we just go with it? Because, like I said, last time we hired a VA, all of council was retired and said, well, we don't do anything all day, so let's come in at 1 o'clock and interview.
And although
And
I'm
that's
not
what we did.
retired, I'm available whenever I decide I'm available. So I'm not worried about that. You're pretty much always available. Yeah. So, yeah,
Again, that side of the table, okay, this side.
This side of the table has day jobs.
I have a little, I'm kind of like you, Rick. I can say when I'm available and not most of the time.
Yeah.
Judges sometimes have something to say about that, but most of the time I can make it work, but. So I don't know, how do you want to,
What are you asking?
Yeah.
how does council want to proceed with interviewing the applicants that we have so far?
Well, if there's more than 2 of us in the room, then that has to be a public meeting, right?
So, well, if there's 3 of you, it would be a subcommittee. Well, 4 is council, but 3 could meet. 3 could meet. 3 could meet now. So it's an unofficial, it's not really a subcommittee to hire, so we don't have to have a public meeting then, is it?
No.
No.
Well, people that don't or can't attend during the day, how do they feel? How do you
Yeah.
guys feel? Do you want to be at?
We certainly
all
don't want to
of the
exclude anybody if they want to be
interviews, or-
included, but at the same time, how do we navigate that?
Well, and that's why one of the things we could do is a smaller group goes through and does first round of interviews, figure out, because you could end up with, hey, there's a, on paper, sometimes people on paper, they blow you away when you meet a
Right.
person.
Mhm.
So we might end up with 5 really great ones and say, okay, we need to pick from these 5, or we might end up with a whole bunch of, well, no, we need to keep the application open. So the process would be a small group to go through and do initial round of interviews. And then all of council, we could call a special meeting. We would do it as an executive session so that it's all confidential.
Right.
And then just do interviews with the second round interviews so that everybody can be present.
I think that makes the most sense, narrow it down.
Right.
And then we can go from there.
I'd like to be included in the first round.
Yeah, me too.
In Chuck's and Flores. So what I will do is I will email what I have so far to everybody. And then the 4 of us, we can coordinate schedules to figure out who we're going to do first round interviews on
Perfect.
and get those scheduled.
Sounds good.
And I will email that stuff out. later
And then I
tomorrow.
think, then I think that probably what, my opinion, depending on the strengths and weaknesses of the people that you're interviewing, then we have to decide what kind do you want.
Exactly.
This person's this. and- okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And just, so, again, we didn't really post a salary range so that people can come in with their different experiences and stuff like that, and then we have flexibility there. I did email all the ones that I had and say, hey, it was basically said, hey, we've got your application, council's looking at the BA job descriptions, we'll be in contact about future interviews, so, so that they're not all out there just kind of in limbo. So I will get that to everyone then here shortly, and we'll go from there. And then boy, Jeff will hit me if we can't do this. To avoid the meeting via email and send it out, the two of you, because you'll get them as well, have strong feelings about any one or the other interview wise, just give me a call and say, hey, you know, on interview, I think we should do this one, or I don't know that we want to spend our time on this one. And then I can relay that to everyone else. You'll get everything I got. In fact, I got them on a OneDrive share, so what I'll probably do is I'll just share it to everybody so you can see exactly what I have. I have them everywhere.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, we have a plan.
Yay.
Just what we say reply.
Yes, well,
Do not reply all.
So that's the beauty of when I share it, because it's on OneDrive, it'll send you an email that says this has been shared with you, and you'll click on the link, but there is no email really to reply to everybody, so it will avoid the potential of an inappropriate meeting that way too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is there anything else to discuss at the rules committee?
I have one thing.
Okay.
Missy wanted to make sure I brought this up, and I just thought of it. The ordinance that was passed last meeting, the $5 door charge for the door tag, that'll probably go into effect next month, because by the time it goes in effect, because it was 30 days from passage, because it had no emergency language. So it won't technically, she feels that we need to give them a heads up, so we put some kind of flyer in the next bill about the $5 door tags.
Yes, we can do that.
Okay.
So just have Missy on the note for
Yeah, at the
everyone's
bottom of the water
utility
thing.
bill, at the
Mhm.
bottom,
Mhm.
just put,
Starting such and such
yeah,
date.
starting this date, there will be an additional $5 fee for placement of door tags
If-
on,
If you get a door tag.
if
Yeah.
if your payment, how do we want to say that?
If you were to receive a late payment door tag,
Yes,
blah, blah, blah.
those that don't know won't know, and those that do will. Won't care.
Okay, so how you?
I would just say starting on whatever date it
Yes,
starts
starting.
on.
December 1st.
There will be an
whatever.
additional $5 charge if you receive a water shut off door tag notification.
fee. Can't write fast.
Haven't we got, maybe I'm missing something, but we've already gotten the bills for this month.
That's
right?
correct.
It goes into effect.
30 days.
It goes into effect in about a week. So it'll go in effect in December. So when they get their bills,
Oh,
It'll
okay.
be on the
I
bill.
thought you meant that you wanted to give them warning.
It'll be on the
prior.
bill that they get the.
On the next
December,
bill, they're gonna-
but they
everyone's
won't
gonna get that
incur it
notice.
until they're late.
Yes.
yeah, starting on this date, there will be an additional $5
$5 fee
fee
if you receive
if you receive.
a water shut off.
notice.
Door tag.
Shut off. Door tag.
Thank you, Missy.
I have one other thing to bring up. I have been told that in the meetings, people cannot hear us talking. So we might want to speak up a little more. I know a lot of times we start talking, and I do too, and then it's like, and you're like, ah.
Well,
So-
make sure your.
Yeah.
My
microphones are
mic is on, and it's, yeah, but I have been told, you really can't hear you guys talking very well.
If the display is on, the microphone's on.
It needs batteries, it looks like.
Yeah,
I
some of
might
that-
turn
that
that on.
is really dim.
Okay,
Okay.
you try switching with the one next to you, if that one comes on and stays on. The light over here, it works, it doesn't, but if the display is on, then it's.
The displays are
broadcasting.
on.
Okay, I think that we need to adjourn. Does I have a motion? To adjourn
Foreman
the
makes a
meeting?
motion to adjourn.
So, in a second.
7:30, 7:29.
Before we go to council in 60 seconds. Yep.
Brian, what piece of legislation could you not find?
32. Yeah, honestly, your contract.
No, that's.
It's what we just,
It's not that
it's the one we just
long.
talked about, the door tag.
Okay. And you don't have the original?
I do not have the original.
That was a quick update.
That's the original.
So I have a question. Disability.
Yeah, I do, I went through the book. I don't have
Two cars were mine. One's 50,000,
Here.
280, the other's 12,990.
All this,
These
these
are the ones
ones
that
we've
are
already
reimbursed
bought.
for.
We're actually.
So
Yeah.
putting a contract, when I submit the invoices, but I submitted this one today, this one will be here sometime.
Yeah.
Maybe more. They bought this car, they own this car, but they have not picked this car out at the dealership. That makes sense. But it's our car.
Yeah, don't
it's just a matter of getting it.
So.
So Ultimate was out 28,270.
Minus tax title and fees.
There is no tax in the one, so.
That's the registration cost.
we don't register them.
Okay.
So the only thing we've got is Michigan Title, which is ridiculous, like $100. And they have a fee for something. I don't know what it is. But well, that's what the 280 is, on 15,000. So anyway, my question is this. So the way the contract is written, and I already talked to Mike today, and he's like, this is not an issue at all because they budgeted 36,000. But they cannot, it says in the contract it has to go back.
I heard what you said about my dog.
What?
Well, that means that we consider.
I heard what you said.
What did I say about your dog?
You said that you- instead of messing with the dog, you get rid of my dog.
I said that?
Oh, because it broke your glass out. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Oh, my God, you saved you and whatever. God, you saved my life that day.
I got to record what I say around Stu. It'll always be reset. He's like a 40-year-old.
No, I thought it was funny.
We're back.
Believe me, I
All right.
thought the same thing.
Then we will call this November 14th meeting to order at 7:32. Our Father.
Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Cosgrave.
Present.
Keller is absent. McCurry.
Present.
Reedy.
Present.
Present.
All right, we have a quorum. Next is approval of minutes. We got two sets of minutes. So first we will go with the October 24th, 2022 regular council meeting minutes. I know Brian sent them out early and was concerned because he was doing the minutes. And while it doesn't go word by word what everybody said, I think he captures everything, including when it says there's lengthy discussions. I think that's appropriate for minutes as well. I think he did a good job.
Makes a motion, we approve we're doing 1024 first.
Yes.
Council minutes as written.
Prove it. I second it.
Discussion? Roll call.
Cosgrave.
Yes.
Foreman.
Yes.
McCurry.
Yes.
Reedy.
Yes.
Chopper.
Abstain.
4-0, 1 abstention. Minutes of October 24th will be approved. Next, the November 1st, 2022 special council meeting minutes.
Foreman makes a motion, we approve the November 1st special council meeting minutes as written.
McCreary seconds.
Discussion on those. Hearing none, roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Reedy,
Yes.
and Schaffner.
Abstain.
Those will pass 4-0, 1 abstention. Approved as written. Next is the agenda, and I am not aware of any amendments. Motion to agenda.
Agenda for tonight's meeting.
Foreman seconds.
Discussion, roll call.
Who seconded it, Foreman?
Foreman.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Reedy.
Yes.
And Schaffner.
Yes.
All right, agenda. No visitors present, none online or contacted, so we'll go into admin reports. My report real quick. Getting into the holidays, so lots of little community things are starting to pop up around here. I do have to get the downtown business meeting, follow-up meeting scheduled. I was hoping to see Steve as up at the karaoke thing for a little bit this weekend fundraiser they had. Just kind of fun. I did not sing, but in fact, I paid not to sing. But no, it was since I hit on it. So it was a fundraiser for the Children's Theater, but it was organized by the Hometown Holidays outgoing queen, Abby Todd. She organized it, put it all together, did all the marketing for it, got people in to raise money for the Children's Theater for some lighting for them. So she did a good job, and people there singing, having a good time, and I enjoyed sitting there listening. Anyway, I was hoping to see Steve. He wasn't there, so I got to get that meeting cleared for upstairs so that we have room. I know with the holidays, it gets busier upstairs with some of their different events, so hopefully that will get done today. I haven't cleared one with Steve. That's what we got to clear, because between weddings and the play and different things upstairs, I need to clear a date. Other than that, for me, it's just been stuff, zoning and stuff with Tim and Brian and the VA stuff. So I think there's got questions for me. If not, we'll go on to Tim.
Streets, I'll start with that, leaf pickup, it's always been ongoing. They've actually kind of caught up a little bit today, which was pretty good. Our Maple Street storm is 99% complete. We got a little tie-ins to do, some minor cleanup and things. Taps on 256, we had to get ODOT permits to bore over the state route. Those are complete, got complete last week, and reminded me about Christmas. The lights for Christmas will be going up the week after Thanksgiving. We have our normal 8 that's at the 4 each intersection. I know that I'm not sure who it was bought 37 Ken Walker with
The BDRC.
BDRC. I think there was 37. Right now I've got 19 locations I can put those while doing some extensive work. We did talk to him several weeks ago, and he said, if you want to do it in phases, that's great. Be part of it this year, trying to get it all finished up next year. So we'll be doing that. Wastewater, the biggest thing out there is trying to get our sludge going. We had a contractor with a person that hauls it off. He did field soil samples. Those have been cleared, so we can haul the sludge. All our membranes are still operating in auto, even the rain on Sunday or Saturday. I'm sorry. It was quite a bit of rain. We had 1.5 inches, 3/4. I think that's the 2 different measurements we had. So they kept right up, no problem. So once we get those sludge bags out of there, we'll start pumping sludge again. Fill up more bags, give us more room to waste throughout the winter. Water plant, I know you ordered some chemicals. Hopefully that's the last, but there may be one more before the end of the year. And as air compressors all got serviced, because it's a completely compressed air operation out there. We had a dryer issue several weeks ago. It got replaced, and that was a recommendation from the dryer people. With that, I think we're in good shape. Any questions?
I guess I fall back. You said, I think I asked you, mine has been a question for Tim as well in my section here too. The replacing of the sewer line on 256, is that going to be done this year?
Yes, the one, the reimbursement, the corner project.
Yes, that we get reimbursed, yes.
Yes, I signed those papers last Thursday, the cover sheet for
Okay.
the permit and the permit itself.
Okay,
It's up for like a third. Ordinance.
And it's up for reading at the
Okay.
last meeting.
I guess my leg way is this, I don't have that in the budget anywhere. So, and I do not believe the sewer fund can handle that expense.
So
I mean, I could add it to the budget next year and get reimbursed for it, but if we have to pay for it this year,
do we know when we're gonna have to pay for it, becomes the question.
I mean, we're getting late in the year.
It's Probably gonna be before the end of the year, the way it all played out.
So,
Yes.
The-
and it's how much, 50,000?
Just under 50.
And the sewer fund doesn't have 50 in it?
We couldn't increase the appropriations. I mean, I think,
So what we can do then is, and that's fine, so once we get the final number, if the next council goes to Ryan, we can just have an ordinance that transfers from unencumbered funds in the general fund to the wastewater fund to pay that,
okay, but the general fund could pay for anything.
where we could just pay it out of the general fund
And then just reimburse it.
and then reimburse the general fund.
Okay, because, I mean,
So that's fine, so we'll just,
I'll take a look at the budget numbers from the county and see if we can increase the
if it
appropriations.
can come out of the wastewater, that's where it should come from.
Right.
If not, we've got plenty in the general fund carryover, we can just.
Okay.
From there.
That was my spiel then.
Okay.
That was my,
That'll work. Anything else, Brian?
no, that's it.
3 pieces of legislation on for first reading. First one is the annual appropriations ordinance for 2023 that does have emergency language on it. Brian, is there a preference on when council? approves
They
it?
can go to 3 readings.
Second one is to reappoint me as the solicitor. The Ohio Revised Code requires that ordinance every 2 years. The contract's the same as previous years except for the dates. So that's the only thing that's changed on that. The last piece of legislation on for first reading is the ordinance accepting the annexation of the Hahn property. And that's the last piece of legislation that's needed for that annexation process. It's technicality, it's the county requires it, county commissioners require that the village formally say, yes, we accept this annexed parcel into the village. Once council approves that, we send the ordinance with all the attachments on to the county recorder. Once it's recorded, then it's in the village, it's inside the village corporation. And then 2 ordinances on for third reading. One's been referenced. That's the agreement with the engineers for the Baltimore Somerset Road Force Main relocation project. And then the last piece of legislation is for updating the cemetery language. And that's it. That's all I have.
Moving on to committees, finance.
Finance Committee met this evening, and what came out of finance was we had a motion to approve right pay off the contract in installments, and also the 2 pieces of legislation referenced by the solicitor sponsored for the actual appropriations budget. Ms. McCurry, the sponsors for reading, and the solicitor's contract was sponsored by me. And our next meeting will be on 28th. That's it from finance. Or-
Finance
Well,
on
our
20
fi- our
no,
finance
finance will be on
is
the
December
7th.
7th, okay, sorry about that.
12.
12. I get my two committees mixed up here.
Service.
All right, next one. Okay, we didn't meet this evening, our next meeting is the 28th.
Safety.
Yes, Mayor, we did not meet this evening. We will meet on the 20th of November following service.
Rules.
We did meet tonight, Mayor, and the main thing that came out of it is we have applications for the VA position. And we have a subcommittee that's going to be reviewing those for the first go round. And our next meeting will be December 12th.
Police department.
Thanks, Mayor. Prior to council night, we swore in 3 new officers. 2 are SRO officers and they're considered part-time. They only work when the school's in session. The other is the officer for the overlap night shift that we've been trying to hire for a long time. I think they're all going to be really good candidates for us. We went to Albany, Ohio, and had the funeral for our officer who passed away in Patton. And his family was very appreciative that we had come down. Very appreciative that the village had sent flowers. That meant a lot to him. So he was a good guy. He's going to be missed a lot. We're working diligently trying to find cars for this SRO program. We located 2 in Michigan. And they've agreed to what we have asked to pay for the cars. So I just got a text from them. So I guess those will be the cars we're going to get. And again, those are 100% reimbursed by the school board. So other than that, that's all. Okay, I have one last thing.
Yeah.
I do want to thank Mrs. Reedy and her husband, the chief, for we had a unfortunate, sad sort of incident that happened out on the road with a lady that had passed away, and they came over and were a huge help. They obviously were, we had to force in a window in order to get into the house, and they were there, they helped, they got the window secured. So I think that's another prime example of why people love Baltimore. Thank
Mary's.
you very much.
Thank you.
Mary's. She was my 7th grade English arts teacher. And my Kiwanis advisor.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yep. All right. Anything else, chief? All right. Fire board.
Fire board last met on October 20th, and actually I just emailed those minutes out to everyone within the past hour. Our next meeting is on November 17th. That's this Thursday, 6:30.
Could you include me in that email? Could you, because we have a folder and a share folder, we have minutes where we keep stored minutes, including the tree commission and one of them is the fire board. I don't have any from practically the whole year, so.
Well, I could go back and send, I could even kind of retro them to you. I still have them.
Okay.
Planning and zoning did not meet this month. Not sure we will have a quorum. So that said, if anybody else knows anybody that might be interested in planning and zoning, Kay Williamson has not yet, but will be moving out of the village shortly. She gave me the notice that she'll be moving out. I will still include her as long as she is a resident, but she has some very valuable missing one other person there. So, and sometimes it's hard to get people interested and willing. So while I don't need it yet in short order, we'll need someone for planning and zoning. And that position, because it's a resident, also sits on BZA. So if anybody knows of anybody or can think of anybody that might be an asset to that, please let me know. And then once that resignation becomes becomes effective, then I'll publish it and stuff like we do anyway, but it's always good to have a list started, so if anybody knows anybody, let me know. Tree Commission.
The only thing I can think of there is, is the urban canopy application we submitted last month was declined for next year, so. Well, I guess they'll retry next year, I guess.
Try next year. I have nothing for Records Commission. If not, we'll go on to the first reading, which is
Does that gripe thing need to be motion? Or was that done? That was done.
I just.
Okay.
So first reading ordinance 2022-42, which is the permanent annual appropriation ordinance in the Village of Baltimore. 2023 declaration of emergency sponsor on this one is.
Yes, Mayor, 2022-42, we're looking to do our first reading tonight. This particular ordinance.
So we will leave that on for a second reading at the next meeting. If anybody has changes, we'll have some updates from the committee, but we'll leave that on and it'll come on for a second reading. Next is ordinance 2022-43, an ordinance to reappoint Jeffrey Fago to the position of village solicitor for the Village of Baltimore for a term of 2 years and fixed compensation to be paid and declaration of emergency. Sponsor is Cosgray, though. That can go through.
It's reappoint Jeff for the position of the village solicitor for 2 years.
That's on for our first reading, so that'll stay on for a second at the next meeting. Moving on, ordinance 2022-44, an ordinance accepting the annexation of 3.258 plus or minus acres to Han annexation, directing the village solicitor to prosecute proceedings necessary to effect it and the declaration of emergency. We do need a sponsor on this one. And does this need to pass tonight?
My preference is that it pass tonight. The reason for that, we've already waited 60 days for the commissioners had a hearing on this. Why wait any longer and keep the property owners? I mean, they're moving forward. There's no issue with regard to that, but I like to clean this issue up sooner than later. So we finalize the annexation process.
You need someone to sponsor
I'll
that.
sponsor that. All right, so I will make a motion that we dispense with the 3 reading rule.
More than second.
Discussion. Roll call. Roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary, Reedy,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
All right, 3 readings suspended.
So Cosner makes a motion that we adopt the ordinance 2022-44, accepting the annexation.
4 seconds.
Discussion. Roll call.
Cosgray.
Yes.
Foreman.
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Schaffner,
Yes.
Reedy.
Yes.
5-0. Ordinance 2022-44 will be adopted. No second readings. Moving on to third readings, ordinance 2022-36, an ordinance authorizing the village administrator to enter into an agreement with Beathard Companies for engineering services for the Baltimore Somerset Road Force Main Project and the declaration of emergency sponsors.
Yeah, this is the project out there, corner of 37 to 56. That we're gonna take out of the general fund, I guess.
Well, that's not settled yet.
Yeah, it's not settled yet. Awesome. This is just sign the agreement so we can get it all
All
done.
right, yeah, let's just do it.
All right.
So I would, make a motion to adopt?
4 seconds.
Discussion.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Reedy,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
All right, 2022-36 will be adopted. Moving on, 2022-37, an ordinance to amend chapter 1042 cemeteries, the Baltimore Codified Ordinances in order to update various fees. Sponsor is Schaffner.
Yes, this is an ordinance to update all of our cemetery fees. It's pretty cut and dried. And I would make a motion to adopt.
Reedy second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Reedy,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
All right, 2022-37 will be adopted. No tabled ordinances. Does anybody have any old business? Does anybody have any new business? I guess we go to visitors. We adjourn. Just keep in mind at the next meeting, we'll probably have our motion to cancel the last meeting in December. We need to cancel that last meeting, so. As it falls right between Christmas and New Year, so. That's the only last thing that just popped into my head. If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
Makes a motion to adjourn.
3 seconds.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Unanimous voice vote. We are adjourned at 7:54. Thank you, everyone. I like it if you can get all the work done in 3 meetings. Let's see. I need 36 and 37.
Okay. Rand, you have this?
No, I don't know.
You usually bring them.
Yeah, but I thought we dropped this off for.
Luckily, those are nothing that needs to be submitted to anything that gets sent in or anything. So I can sign it.
All right, that's fine. I'll.
It's easier when
I'll-
I'll plug this.
I'll find it.
Okay.
Just saying, our volume is better because this is happening now, so. Are these rechargeable batteries or whatever?
No, I got something.
First person I've heard of. It's had,
I thought I was going to have to have it on the door or something.
Something.